How's everyone doing today? Great, fantastic. If you all have been watching my food and enjoying my plates, you know that I am on a healing journey. I am healing from narcissistic abuse. So today's video is about what is it about you that you do not like about yourself? Based on how we are feeling about ourselves, that is what brought the narcissist or attracted the narcissist to us. As I am on this healing journey, I am learning that everything about our world and everything that's in it is based on how we feel about ourselves. So if we feel good about ourselves, then our world will reflect that. However, on the other side of that, if we feel bad about ourselves, or we think negatively about ourselves, or if we're carrying around old baggage from our childhood, words that were spoken over our lives, or things that we felt about ourselves, then again, our life will reflect that as well. So today, this video is saying, and it's asking a question, it's asking you. It's basically a video about you really doing a search for yourself, a search to find you, your Google search into yourself and into your operating the way you do, and you operating the way you have been operating for so many years. You have to really seriously ask yourself that question. What is about me that I dislike? What is it? I know for me, for many years, I went around thinking that I was dumb. And I've got this feeling when I was in school. I can recall I was in this business class in high school, and I had did quite well in the typing class. However, when I went over to the other class to learn about typing out letters and different things in regards to working in a business office, I failed horribly. I flopped, I fell on my face. And I can recall not doing so well, and then the teacher walking me out of the classroom in front of everybody. And I was so embarrassed, she walked me out and basically walked me to like a pottery class. It's like, you're not smart enough for the business side, but maybe you're smart enough to make something. Maybe you're smart enough to create something. And so I was embarrassed, I just, from that moment on, that was one incident. Then I had another incident, but from that moment on, I just automatically thought that I was dumb. And so anytime when I went out into the world and I was around people that were smart or that had education or that were good at business, I immediately went back to that childhood experience of not doing so well in the business class. And so I immediately just thought of myself as this dumb person. You're not smart enough. So when I would be around these people, I allowed them to intimidate me. I allowed them to make me feel like I just didn't have what it took or what it takes to be in the business world. And that had nothing to do with the people that were educated or the people that, knew business or were smart enough to know business. It had everything to do with me. At the time of that happening to me while I was in school, I didn't know that in life, you don't know everything. And it's okay when you don't know everything. And that you not knowing it doesn't mean that you can't learn it. And so as I've grown older now, I realize that you can learn anything that you need to learn. But when we're starting out young and we're teenagers, we don't get that. So then we put a negative plate inside of us and we operate from that negative plate or from that negative recording. We operate from there throughout our lives until we find out differently. So again, what is it inside of you that you have been operating in? What negative thought about yourself that you have been carrying around for so many years that attracted the narcissist to you? Everything Everything starts with us. So when you figure that out, now is the time for you to start loving yourself in that area and knowing that it's okay to feel that way, but you don't have to believe those feelings that are keeping you in such a low level way of thinking and operating. You probably need to take out a sheet of paper or go on your computer and write out all the different experiences you've had in regards to how you felt about yourself in certain areas. And then you might want to ask yourself, when did these feelings start? When did I start feeling like I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't smart enough, or I wasn't pretty enough, or I wasn't creative enough, or I wasn't, I just wasn't enough? When did these feelings start? And when they started, how were you operating when you were in relationships, business relationships, personal relationships? How were you operating? How were you behaving? How were you being? And once you see that, then you say, how can I turn all of this around and start loving myself? Because that's really what it boils down to. It boils down to you and I loving ourselves and accepting ourselves for the way we are and the way we are created. It means loving ourselves and knowing that it's okay when we don't know something. That's okay, but we can always learn something. And it's okay to not be gifted or talented in certain areas of life, because all of us are not. But we are gifted and talented in certain areas of life where we will take off higher than anyone else. So those are the questions that we have to ask ourselves, because now we're on a healing journey to know better, to do better, to feel better, to live better, and we can live better, we can feel better, and we can do better. But first we have to get to the core of that wound that's been operating in us for so long, the core wound of a lie. It was a lie that was planted there by us and what we believed about ourselves in the beginning. We believed that we weren't good enough, or we weren't smart enough, or we just didn't have what it took to be operating in this world. We have to combat that lie with the truth, because we are good enough, we are worthy enough, and we are smart enough, and we can start loving ourselves right in those areas right there. When God created us, He knew what He was doing when He created you and I. He created us, with you and I, with a purpose inside us, a purpose to change the world, a purpose to glow and to go and to shine and to be fine with all that we do. We do not have to walk around with the loser mentality or hanging our heads down low because we feel that we're not good enough. We have to know that we are good enough and that we can conquer anything in this world, and anything that we set our minds to. It's okay that we didn't know in the beginning all what we needed to know. It's okay, because now we can learn new ways of operating and new ways of being and new ways of loving ourselves. We can love ourselves just where we're at. We can love ourselves unconditionally. We can love ourselves in our failures. We can love ourselves in our successes. We can love ourselves every step of the way. So again, in order to not attract or keep attracting narcissists to us, we must go within, go inside ourselves and start loving ourselves and start figuring out why we operated the way we operated in such a negative way. We can change that into a positive way. Okay, let's start today. Stay on your healing journey. You are doing a great job. Do not beat yourself up as you're discovering what made you operate the way you operated and the belief system that you built up. Don't beat yourself up. You're human and you are allowed to make a lot of mistakes. As a matter of fact, make a lot of mistakes figuring out the right way to go and the right way to operate and the right way to do, because that's going to make you a better person of the person that you already are. You are worthy enough, you are loving enough, and you are caring enough, and you are very powerful, and there's nothing that you cannot conquer. So start believing in yourself. Start believing in you every day. Okay, so I hope this video has helped someone. I really, really do. And I know I'm learning more on this healing journey, and I know you are learning more too. So pat yourself on the back and just cheer yourself on. You are doing a fantastic job. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, and please leave your emotional food story at the bottom. Remember, this healing journey is about freedom. We are setting ourselves free from the negative things that bound us to such horrific lives, which started with us. Okay, it didn't start with the narcissist, it started with us. But we can turn it around and start loving ourselves more and more each day. Thank you all so much. This is T Mentor Food. God bless you all and be blessed.